best-selling author and political analyst Mark Halpern. Welcome, Mark.
Good morning, Betsy.
He's got his mask on.
I don't want to get sick like Rob, so I'm wearing the mask.
That's really funny. Project One National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps, maskless.
Maskless.
And former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates joining us again. Well, let's start with this one. President Biden will be visiting Kentucky today. It's a very somber scene. To see the devastation left behind from the tornadoes over the weekend left 74 people killed, including 12 children. More than 100 people are still missing. Mark, the question to you is, will the president's visit help? What do you expect to see today when he arrives?
Well, look, this is a state that's got Republican and Democratic office holders. It's an incredibly important time for the state leading into the holidays. I think the president's going to be well received, and he's going to survey the damage, meet with families. I think it's good for the country that he's doing it, and this is one of the instances when let's put aside partisanship, and I think Senator McConnell, the Governor Beshear, others will welcome him there. I think it's great that he's going.
It is probably great that he's going and reassuring, but I also remember from past times when presidents have visited the sites of natural disasters or even mass crimes, that it causes so much confusion, it actually often delays getting help to people who urgently need it. What do you think, Christopher?
Well, last Friday night, I live here in the Midwest, and we dealt with those tornadoes. We had 7 people in our area that were killed. I think this is a good thing that the president is going down to visit. I hope that it's nonpartisan. We saw after these tornadoes, the president was blaming global warming for the increase in tornadoes. But I think this is a good morale booster for the president to be in Kentucky and to help bring in resources to rebuild those communities.
Well, he's not the only one who's traveling. First Lady Jill Biden and second gentleman Douglas Emhoff will be visiting Waukesha, Wisconsin today. 1 month after the Christmas Day tragedy that killed 6 people. As you remember, that alleged killer who mowed down those 6 people during the Christmas parade. Rick, is this a little too late?
Well, I would have liked to see the president go there to really kind of, talk to the victims' families, help the country heal. This whole issue has kind of disappeared from the media. And it's very interesting when you look at what has happened there compared to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and other areas of the United States. And now there's just virtually no coverage. So certainly Jill Biden and Doug Emhoff going there will bring a new spotlight to it. It'll be interesting to see how Jill Biden handles it in terms of visiting with victims' families and first responders. So I'm glad she's doing it. I think it's needed. It was needed several weeks ago.
I'm so glad that you raised that point. Where have the media been? Darrell Brooks, a 39-year-old, I would say hardened criminal. He's got a long rap sheet, including previous convictions for domestic violence and other violent assaults. And he got out on $1,000 bail and soon afterwards committed this heinous crime, or at least is alleged to have committed this heinous crime. So is the media not covering it because it doesn't fit in their narrative? It's so different from the Rittenhouse case. This is a black alleged perpetrator. He was a fan of Black Lives Matter. He was out on this bail that's so much a part of the Democratic agenda now, releasing alleged criminals with virtually no requirement for cash bail. Christopher, what do you think of this?
Well, I think one of the top priorities for the Democrats, as we know, is criminal justice reform. And this case obliterates that when we find out that not only did he commit this crime of mowing people down, but he had done this previously using his vehicle as a weapon. And then we later found out that, he gets out of jail on that incident for only a $1,000 bail. We know criminal justice reform advocates are advocating for no cash bail at all. So it looks bad for that narrative, and I think that's the main reason why the media has been ignoring this case.
Mm-hmm. And Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, the press
I can't hear you with that mask on, Mark.
The press is not responsible for everything wrong with America. I will say. But in this case, the country will not heal until the dominant media covers stories equally without regard to their own political agenda. This is a case where I think it's just going to further divide the country, because using the normal standard, this story would be getting a lot more attention than it has.
Right. And back to Washington, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's prediction of getting Build Back Better passed before Christmas just isn't going to happen. Take a listen.
The Majority Leader continues to say he wants this bill on the floor before Christmas. We'll see. As others have said, it seems to me Senator Manchin can determine the timing here. If he thinks it's not ready and he's not ready to go, then I assume this will be brought up some other time. The best Christmas present the American people could hear was that this bill was going nowhere.
Amen, I say. And let's give a lot of credit to West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who is holding out. His vote is needed. The bill can't pass without it. Democrats need all 50 votes in the Senate. And Manchin is saying he's concerned about the constituents in West Virginia. It's a state with a very elderly population, and that means people who are devastated by inflation. They're seeing their life savings shrink before them in the bank, buying less and less because of soaring prices. So what do you think of this one, Christopher?
Well, I think it would be a true Christmas miracle if they can pass this bill in 10 days. There's huge portions of this bill that haven't been written yet. We still have the Senate parliamentarian having to rule on immigration reform in this bill. Senator Menendez and Bernie Sanders are fighting over the SALT tax. So I don't see this happening in 10 days. If this gets dragged on into the next year, I think this is DOA.
Well, great panel discussion. I hope you're right, Christopher. I agree with you and Mitch McConnell.